Okay, so today as I told, we'll see the SAMBA server and SAMBA client, which is also very similar similar to the NFS, but thing is actually it is it's a utility which can be used for sharing resources, including the disk space as well as a printer in a network area. Invariably, it doesn't matter whether we need to have Linux or we need to have Mac or Windows. So I'm not sure about Mac. So Windows, so it can manage the combination of Windows and Linux. So that's the advantage of SAMBA thing. So let's see how the SAMBA work. What is the client and server configuration? What are the select commands, and we'll see the demo also. So this is what I have for this class. Okay, SAMBA implements the server message protocol. Let's see. SAMBA server message protocol, which is used to access resources on a server. The resources could be files or the printers. So it could be any of this. So, file is what I mentioned it as a disk space, or we can also have one printer, and we can have this printer shared with all the clients within the network. Apart from this, this SAMBA this also supports DCE RPC protocols, which can be taken care for the Microsoft Windows as well. So this protocol is also being addressed in the SAMBA, and hence it can work along with the Microsoft Windows operating systems as well. So it can work along with Windows and Linux systems, and it can authenticate the clients logging into the system. Okay, so how does SAMBA work? So all of this thing would be in a work group. The center one is the SAMBA server, and this is the one that where we run the SAMBA server, and we will configure the shared printer and the shared directory or the shared disk space that you want to share with the network clients or the nodes that you want to share. The nodes could be a Windows node, or it could be a Linux node. So the left one I have given the Windows node, and the right one I have given the Linux node. So how does it work? So when the client attempts to access a shared folder on the Linux server running SAMBA, it gives a request, and the client sends a request to the SAMBA server using the SMB protocol. There's a protocol called SMB, Shared Message Block. That's the name of the protocol. And SAMBA server will ask for the username password authentication. And if the authentication is successful, then the data transfer can happen between the client and the server using this SMB protocol. It's not very complicated, but straightforward thing. Okay, so I have a setup which I've created in my local system where I have my VMs running. I have two VMs. One is the CentOS Linux. No, only one. Two VM at the moment. I'm going to use it for one of the CentOS VM. I'm going to use it for running the server, and the other I'm running it as a CentOS. SAMBA client. Both are running CentOS server and servers. One running the SAMBA server, and the other running the SAMBA client. And I have my host operating system, which is Windows, so I'm going to use that as well. So this is the one. So if you see the IP address, all of these are in this 172.15 network, and I'm using the VM cloud, which is all internal network, which manages this. Okay, so coming to the steps, first thing is we need to install the server, and the command to install the server is this. We will install the server using -y install SAMBA. So that will install the SAMBA server for us. And the next one is to enable the SAMBA, which is by giving systemctl enable smb -now. That will enable the SAMBA. by default whenever we boot the system. Okay, now once we have this installation done, so we have a configuration file that is there, the system at etc directory /etc/samba directory. We have a configuration file called smb.conf. So we need to open that configuration file. There are many things that would be there by default. We may have to create a directive or a configuration in the smb.conf. So before doing that, so we need to create the shared directory. So I'm not going to demonstrate with a shared printer. I'm going to demonstrate with a shared disk space. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a shared directory here by giving mkdir under the root at the top level. I'm creating a directory named samba-share. And what I'm doing is I'm giving changing the group to SMB users group. So actually I have created a SMB users a new group by name SMB users, and I have two accounts, which is SMBC1, SMBC2, which I have written in this step. So this two accounts or two usernames will be part of this SMB users group. So this I am actually changing the shared directory to this group, which is SMB users group, and I'm also giving the access mode as read, write, execute for the owner and the group, and nothing is given for the others. So this is the access permission that I given here for Samba share. Once it is done, so this the third step is already I've told. So we need to create a group called SMB users group, and we can create two user accounts using this user add command. User add minus capital G will assign the newly created users to the group. Newly created user is SMBC1 and SMBC2. These two groups, these two accounts will get assigned to this group, which is SMB users group, which I've just created. So this is the third step that we have done. And the fourth step is actually there is a SMB database. So SMB database, that means Samba maintains a user database along with its username and password. So we need to sync, or we need to create the database in the Samba, and the command to do that is SMB password. So this is a command to do that. We can give SMB password -a and give the user name. So this username is the username that I just created just now, SMBC1, and it will prompt to give the password for this SMBC1. It's better to give the same password that we had given for the user account in the third step. So we had created the user account and password and made it part of the Samba user database. So that is the step number 4. And so once that's all about the there's some more things that we have to do. So there is this configuration. So this is a configuration which we'll have to do in the smb.conf file. This will give the details about the shared directory. So shared directory is actually the samba_share. That's a directory that we have created just now. And we have to make these things. Read only is equal to no, write is equal to yes, browse is equal to yes, public is equal to yes, valid users. We are saying all users belonging to the SMB users group or valid users. And in case if they create a file, and this is how the file access mode should be, and whatever file that are created, I'm forcing that file to be part of this group SMB users group. So this is the configuration, and we can make these configurations like this and keep it under a directory called SMB users. So this is a directory. We can have it and place it in the smb.conf file. So once the one more thing on the smb.conf file, there's a global directive. So this is a global directive which is which will have the work group name and things like that. Under that, we can specify the log, where the log should be, and what is the level. So log level, it is not OG level, log level. One. So these two things, we will have to keep it in the global directory so that the SAMBA server logs would get stored in this location. So once we are done, so we can go ahead and give this command, this test part. This is a command which will check whether the configuration that we have done in the conf file is good or not. If the configurations that we have done in the config file is good, then it'll say all okay. And if it's not having some issues, it'll report some errors. And we can, based on that, we can change it or update it, and then we can give this command test palm. Once test palm says okay, then we can proceed. And if you have firewall enabled in the system, we'll have to add the firewall service, SAMBA service to the firewall. Okay, so there's again a mistake here. It's not add service HTTP, it is SAMBA service. There's a service called SAMBA service, so that we have to add here. And once it is done, so we will have to have the, we need to restart the SAMBA server. And once it is done, so the SAMBA is ready now. SAMBA server is ready now. And coming to the client, we can give SMB client is installed by default. We can give 172.15.0.11. So this is the IP address that I have my SAMBA server running. Minus L will list the shared resources that are there in this, and which user. So I've configured the user SMBC1. So minus capital U and SMBC1 will give the list of shared resources shared by this SAMBA server. So we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to see the shared resources. And so note that there's a thing called 4 backslashes we need to give in. That seem to be some issue in this 4 backslash, but if you give 2 backslashes, it doesn't seem to be working. So we may have to note that. And here again, so SMB users is the directive that we have given in the configuration file. So to get into it, so we'll have to give this to get the shared directory. We will have to give this thing SMB client 4 backslashes and / SMB users. Now we'll have a new prompt, which is SMB colon thing. And in here, we will have our commands, which is very similar to FTP, get, put, all that. So we can do the, we can download any file from the SAMBA server, or we can upload any file to the SAMBA server. So all things can be done using this SAMBA prompt. Once it is done, so we can give quit to get out of that. So same way, coming to Windows, if we go to the Windows, we may have to go to the File Explorer, Network, Map, Network Drive. And in that, we will have to say Map Network Drive. We can take a drive name, Z, and we will have to give the IP address and the shared resource, which is a shared directive, name of the shared directive, the shared directory, which is the SMB users. And once it is given, so it will prompt us to enter the credentials, and the credentials that we have given for SMBC1. So that's the user that we have configured to use the SAMBA server. So this SMBC1 and 2 will be SMBC1's credentials would be asked for. Once we enter it, we will be able to get to see the shared directory in the Windows as well. So that's about the thing. And some more configurations are there. So in case if you want to see the SAMBA server level user database, so you can give pdp edit -l. This will list down the user names that are configured at the SAMBA server. So that's one command which is quite useful. Test form is a utility which helps us to correct any wrong configurations, so that we can make use of. And SMB status. So after connecting the systems, if you want to see who and all are connected and what they are using, which file they are working on. So this SMB status command is very handy to get to know what is going on. So that's about it. So let's quickly see the configuration, the demo of this.
And Alex, can you as well briefly say what are the use cases for this? I mean, where we can use in which level of infrastructure we can use normally?
Yeah, so if you see the use case, basically if you have a network and if you we might have a printer. So and we have to have the printer available for all the nodes, for all the users. This is a very unavoidable scenario for any enterprise network. So we'll have to have this SAMBA server configured on a Linux, and we will have to configure the shared printer in the SAMBA server, and we will have to have all the users allocated and given permission to use the shared printer, and everybody will be, once that is done, so everybody will be able to issue a printout from their own system. So that is one. That's a critical usage. Instead of this will avoid having multiple printers, or say suppose if you have 30 users in a floor, and if you don't have such kind of a shared printer, so we will have to have 30 printers for each and every users. We'll have to have a individual printer, which is not it is not a idle way to work. So instead we can have one single printer connected in the network, and we'll have Samba configured in the network, and this Samba server will be able to take hold of this resource, which is a shared printer, and he will make it available for all the users. So that's one use case. The other use case is basically if you have one, say one file or one directory, or if you want to have a specific user directory for each and every users, you can have your network storage configured in your server, and we can configure the users to use their own allocated network storage, which is shared in the server. So it can also be used to for allocating the storage space, or for sharing a storage space from the central server. Am I making sense to you?
Yes. Okay. So I mean, firstly, it will be needing a dedicated VM of its own.
Yeah. So it can be a dedicated VM, or it can be a on-premises equipment. So you can on-premises server. You have a Linux server, so you can use that. So where you can configure the Samba server, and you can configure the printer, which is a shared printer, network printer, and go to the smb.conf file and then make these changes, and then so that it is available for all the users to use.
Okay.
So this is one use case. The other use case is in case if you have 5 users and we need to give 5 directory space or 5 disk space, 5 directory location for 5 users, and all of these 5 users, 5 disks, 5 storage space, we want to keep it in the server instead of having it available for the user's machine. We want to have it allocated in the server, so we can do so using this Samba as well. So for each and every user, we can configure a directory in the server, and we can make it available only for the specific user And whenever the user reboots the system, this stored space or the disk shared space will be available for the user by default whenever it comes up. So likewise, we can have all of their shared disk space be available for their systems. But the actual storage will be present in the server, central server. So this is another use case. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I have two nodes here. Let me ping first. Send node 2. So this is the appearance. And from here, let me ping this one. Send node 1. So both are pinging, both are in connection. So first step is to install the SAMBA server, and the way to install the SAMBA server is sudo yum -y install.
This is taking again from the local repository.
This will be done. Yeah, this will be done from the local repository. I've already installed, so nothing is installed now. One more thing you may have to install, just utils. That's not required now. So a SAMBA is installed. Now we'll see. Status is running because I already enabled it. Systemctl restart SMB and systemctl status SMB. And we can enable it also, systemctl enable now SMB, so that will enable the SAMBA server. And now we'll see the configuration. This is the main configuration for SAMBA. So this is the SAMBA configuration. So the changes that I've done. So this is the work group. The work group is SAMBA. I kept it like that. So whichever systems they are connected to this network, it will be using the SAMBA domain. And these two configurations is what I've added now. Log file location, which is not present by default. We'll have to add this in the global directory. Under the global directory, we have to add this. So I've done this, and I've come down here at this place. This is the SMB users directory. So in here, I've just configured the shared directory. So before shared directory is samba_share, which is a directory that I've created under the root. So read only is equal to no, writable is equal to yes, browsable is equal to yes, public yes, SMB users, delete mask directory, mask post group. So all the same configuration. So this is the disk space sharing. Yes, if we have printer to share, so we may have to give the printer here, printer driver here, and we may have to say who are all eligible to use a printer. This was there by default in the configuration. So we have created a group name print admin. So these people who are in as part of print admin group seem to be having the access to fire a printout from their system. So this another configuration, similar configuration we may have to give. so that other people can use it. So this is one, but I'm not going to demonstrate printer because I don't have printer. So SMB users is what I'm going to see. Okay. Yeah, so let me show the configuration of my shared directory. So Samba uses a Samba share. That's a directory that I've created. And I have made this directory and given the permissions like this, Samba share. And there's a file that I've created, samba_demo.txt. So some names that I've given here, names alone, some information I've present is stored in this location. And it is present in this samba_share. So firewall command is also also need to be enabled. So already configured Samba here. So make sure that we have Samba enabled in the firewall so that the communication will not get stopped by firewall. Okay. So coming to the client, -L 172.15.0.11. So these are the directives that we have that is there in the configuration file of smb.conf. There are two disk share and one printer share. So the disk share SMB users, this is the one that I enabled or I created, and that is appearing over here. And if I
And one question, Alex, at the client level, you have to install any additional tool or something?
no, SMB client is there by default.
In any CentOS version or specific version?
Just 1 second.
Like
Just
how we
confirm
can
that.
check if SMB client is there?
Just if you give SMB client and enter, you'll get to know. Yeah, SMB client and just SMB client and enter, that is giving, it shows me whether it is installed or not.
Oh, it's not giving. No, I think maybe we need to install it on client. For one of the client that we have it, I'm trying to search it, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
says
it's
no.
not there, huh?
Yes, no, and maybe I think we might need to install as a part of client installation. Looks like.
1 second.
Normally in CentOS, all the installed packages we can see somewhere. Like for example, in Windows, we have control panel, all installed control panel softwares. So where we can see in CentOS, this all installed packages as a summary.
Using the M command, 1 second, 1 second. I am just checking that.
Okay.
So there's a command to list down all the packages. I'm just checking the exact command syntax.
Okay.
Yeah, yum list install this command. In here, if you grep for Samba. Okay, so these are things that are there.
Okay, Samba client library, it is there. At least in one of our client it is there. Samba
Mhm.
client library. So which one is that for you? Yeah, Samba client, yes. Yeah, similar version.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, clear.
So otherwise, if it's not there, I think there's a command called install Samba
I think that's package, yes.
client. Mhm. There's a search is also there. Yum.
Yeah, this will search in the, I think, repository.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I mean,
So
the local repository, not locally in the node.
correct. So this is searching from the local repository. That is from this one, the node one. Node one, I have the local repository.
Okay.
Node two is actually going and fetching the information from the node one. So there is a Samba client which is already here. Samba client.
Okay. At the going back to the no server, Samba server, Alex. So what you have done
Mm-hmm.
is you install firstly as a step, you install the server. Yum
Mm-hmm.
install Samba server. And then you create that, you make a directory, new directory that we want to share with.
Mm.
And then in the same configuration file which is created, you map the printer address,
Yeah,
the
printer
driver
address or
specifier
the
for the
disk.
printer.
Yeah, printer address or this shared space, shared disk space.
Okay, both we have to like define it in this
Yeah,
configuration file.
configure. Correct. Both. You see here.
Okay, and
So
if you have multiple shared folders, we can define it there also, the multiple globals.
yes. All. Yeah. Yes. We can. So here. Uh, so this is actually. I have configured like as a public folder. So it is like a public folder. So we can configure it such a way like it's available only for a specific user. We can so like this there is a valid user, so likewise we can create.
Okay.
So for example, a group of users, finance department, so we would like to have a shared storage which is available for them at the server level. Yes, we can do
Okay.
that and can say that
Okay.
these are the users, of course. So in
Okay.
this case I have created as a shared folder which is available for every users, but these users should be part of this group, which is the SMB users group. So that's how I configured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear.
Mm. Yeah. So I gave my own password. It will not work because I have configured this SMB shared directory available only for the user SMBC1. So it says access denied. Now we can give the username SMBC1. So this is the client. And in here, if you see this SMBC1 is there as part of Samba work group.
Mhm.
And I'm going to give the Yeah, so I've keyed in the password, so it has successfully allowed me to get into the shared location. So let me get this file, get uh, Samba demo.txt. So this error opening local file. I think I have already the same file. Let me remove this. it has downloaded this samba underscore demo.txt file. Now we can check this file, samba underscore demo.txt. Yes, this is the file that I have that I had it in my server, that is the node one. Let me give another name here. For example, some entry I have made just for sample demo purpose. Save this. I'm going to upload this file back to the Samba share directory.
So first, what you did a local copy, or you directly update
No,
the
I
single
did a
one?
local copy. So there's no way I can update it directly
Okay.
because there's no editor here. So I just downloaded it, edited it, and then now I am going to upload this using the put command.
Okay, get input. Okay, okay.
I've uploaded it. Quit now. And
So when you upload, it will replace automatically, or copy a
yes,
new version?
no, it will update it automatically. Previously, it was now you can see the last line which I had added Raj Kumar, Raj K. So that's the update. So now coming to Windows. So I'm going to use my Windows also now to configure this. So go to PC and there's a thing called map network drive. So I have given this map network drive and take any drive name. I've taken Z and I've already given this. I can disconnect it to demonstrate this. Map network drive Z 172.15.0.11 and SMB users. And it is prompting me to enter the credential of the authenticated user. So authenticated user is SMBC1. Yeah, so it is now, you can see this SMB users directory, which is available in my Windows as well, as it is very similar to like a local storage location. If you double click this, so I can see this samba underscore demo file. This file is here, and here I can make
Okay, in Windows, you have mapped it. You have.
yeah, I have mapped it and I've added another user in the Windows using the same editor. So I was able to, I don't need to download it. So I have edited the file there in the Windows itself and got saved in this location. So even if we have the users as Windows based users, so we can still have the server storage for the Windows users available from the central server. So it's a thing that we can think about or consider using it in the real-time scenario. So currently, this 15.0.4 is my Windows. So that's what is being shown here. If I make a connectivity from here again, so it will list down that as well. There are two systems. One is .4, which is the Windows, and .12, which is the Linux. So both are currently connecting, and we want to see which directory location they are using. Then we can give SMB status, and then we can get to know the SMB uses. SMB uses the direct is a configuration directive name. It is not the directory you see here. So this SMB uses, this is the directive that's being used over here and things like that. But the actual directory name is SAMBA_share.
That is like a title of this one.
Yes, yeah. So that's a configuration title. Based on this only, we are able to access the shared directory from the client. The SMB
Okay.
uses is the thing. So same way, if you see here, we see SMB users is what is listing here.
So what is
Both are
behind this one? We cannot list it.
we cannot see that. We have to see from the smb.conf file,
Okay. Okay.
which is the shared directory or which is being used and things like that.
Okay.
And mostly, if you have a network printer, they should be having this Samba configured on the enterprise network. I am thinking so. So that's how they should be doing it. I'm not sure if there is a equivalent in Windows server, but since it is it can support Linux and Windows, so Samba is a good choice for making this network printer available for the users.